Hi, friends. What better way to celebrate the end of our school year together than to read a book from a series that we already, it's sort of a tried and true, meaning we know we already love and enjoy it. At least most of our students do, I think. This one is Mercy Watson Goes for a Ride. Look at the ears. And let's take a look at the dedications. Kate DiCamillo, the author, her dedication is for Henry, who is a true menace behind the wheel. And if you don't know, friends, a menace is a danger, somebody who's dangerous behind the wheel. Chris Van Dusen says, to my four brothers and all of the rides we took together, jammed in the back of the station wagon. Chapter 1. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. Every Saturday, Mrs. Watson makes a special lunch. Time for our little Saturday something, Mrs. Watson says. You've outdone yourself, Mrs. Watson, Mr. Watson says Mercy. Whew, what a feast that is. Every Saturday after lunch, Mr. Watson goes outside. Mercy follows him. They stand in the driveway. Together, they admire Mr. Watson's convertible. Are you ready? Asks Mr. Watson. And here you can see the big oink, says Mercy. Mr. Watson opens the passenger door. Mercy hops into the car. She sits behind the wheel and she snuffles contentedly. Chapter 2. Says Mr. Watson every Saturday. You, my dear, are a porcine wonder, but even porcine wonders cannot drive cars. Mr. Watson gently pushes Mercy toward the passenger seat, but Mercy does not move. She does not want to sit in the passenger seat. Mercy Watson wants to drive, says Mr. Watson again. He pushes less gently. Scoot over, my dear. Mercy does not move. Help me! Mr. Watson calls out. Every Saturday, Mrs. Watson steps outside, and you can see how big the words are there. Darling, Mrs. Watson says, if you want to let Mr. Watson drive, I will make you an extra helping of hot buttered toast. I will have it waiting for you when you get back home. Mercy narrows her eyes. She loves hot buttered toast. She also loves extra helpings. Slowly, very slowly, she moves over to the passenger side. What a dear, said Mrs. Watson, and she claps her hands. You are such a good sport, darling. Yes, says Mr. Watson, she most certainly is. He gets in the car and sits behind the wheel. He turns the key in the ignition. The Watson convertible rumbles to life. Chapter 3. Bon voyage, Mrs. Watson calls. Bon voyage, my dears. When you get home, we will all have hot buttered toast. Goodbye, Mrs. Watson, Mr. Watson shouts. He backs the car out of the driveway very quickly. He does not look behind him. Mr. Watson is a forward-looking man. He does not believe in looking back, says Mercy. Already she is having a good time. And we're off, said Mr. Watson. We're off on an adventure. We're off on an adventure. Chapter 4. Ooh, look who it is, friends. Do you remember their names, these two sisters? Eugenia Lincoln and Baby Lincoln live next door to the Watsons. Every Saturday, the Lincoln sisters watch Mercy and Mr. Watson back out of the driveway. Every Saturday, Eugenia is displeased. Mr. Watson is a very bad driver, she says. He is a menace behind the wheel. Oops, sorry, friends. The pages are sticky. It's a little humid outside. Yes, sister, says Baby. Furthermore, says Eugenia, it is my firm opinion that pigs should not be taken for rides in automobiles, particularly that pig. That pig is a sly pig, not shy, sly. Here's the word. Sly means kind of sneaky. That pig is a sly pig. I do not trust her. No, sister, says Baby. Baby looks down the road. The car has disappeared. Mr. Watson and Mercy are gone. Folly, says Eugenia Lincoln. She shakes her fist. It is folly, I say. Yes, sister, says Baby. But secretly, Baby Lincoln thinks that a little folly wouldn't be a bad thing. Remember, friends, the page numbers are in little pieces of buttered toast. Chapter 5. One Saturday, Mrs. Watson made a special lunch. After lunch, Mr. Watson and Mercy went outside. Everything happened just as it always did, every Saturday, on Deckaroo Drive. And here you're seeing this sort of the summary of the 6 parts of the Saturday that we've learned about in the Watson household. What folly, said Eugenia Lincoln, as usual. What nonsense. She paused. Eugenia waited for Baby to say, Yes, sister. But Baby said nothing. Baby said nothing because Baby was not there. And that is where I will pause. Chapter 6 is coming right up. Oh, and the first word. This is a first time that we've had this first word. And the word is officer.